Alright, so today I have a really basic bike maintenance video for you guys. I guess if you take a look at all of our supplies here, you can probably have a pretty good guess at what we're doing. So, you can see my front brake is all good. Everything's good here. I've got V-brakes on my bike here. So last night I noticed that my rear brake cable was fraying right here at this part where this bolt holds it in place on the brake arm. So the cable was fraying and it was just not stable. It was pretty much at the point where most of the cable was gone. So I figured, that's not safe. I need to replace that. As you know, just depending on how much you ride your bike, you'll need to replace your brake cables occasionally. So I wasn't thinking last night when I disconnected everything and took it all apart. I was not thinking about doing a video and showing off how to do that. It's particularly easy though. Pretty much all that you would do for my particular bike, I would use a 5mm Allen wrench or Allen key to loosen this up. I would clip this end here to remove this or pull it off with pliers. Of course, on mine, this was already torn off, pretty much, so I didn't have to do that. So you loosen this up, pull the cable out, remove your rubber boot, then you would pop your noodle off, remove the cable housing, and then you can see the end of the cable clips on in here into your brake lever. So it's pretty easy to remove. So to put it back on, like I said, it's a really simple fix. We're basically going to take our new cable, we're going to clip that round end in here, run the cable out through this end, through our housing. We'll route our housing all the way back here, clip our noodle into the end of our housing, then we'll run our cable over to this bolt and this washer here on the other side of that brake arm. And then from there, we'll install our new cable going through there. We'll adjust our brakes. It's pretty easy to do. Okay, so I've gone and I've closed my barrel adjuster all the way. A lot of people will tell you don't do that. They'll tell you to have it halfway in, halfway out. I kind of feel like with V-brakes, they're easy enough to adjust that you don't really need to worry about your barrel adjuster all that much. Yeah, so this is one of those situations where I wish I had a maintenance stand at home, because this would be a heck of a lot easier to not only show you guys what I'm doing, but heck of a lot easier to work on the bike. So, alright, I've got my cable threaded in there. So I'm going to pull that on through, and okay, I am still recording. I heard the camera making a weird clicking sound. Alright, so now that I've got my cable through, I'm going to lock this little round piece into this spot here on the brake lever where it goes. And it's going to weave the cable in through there. Whoops, popped out. Alright, so now my cable's in there. So next thing I'm going to do is I got to get our cable going through our cable housing. Alright, so before I run the housing into the bike where it needs to go and run the cable through it, before I do that, I'm going to put a little bit of oil into the cable housing, because that's just good. It'll make the cable last longer. So, it's got my 3-in-1 here. I'm just going to put a couple of drops in. And so a trick that I saw, from someone showed me this, is that to get the oil to go all the way down real easily, and this is in a way kind of gross, but I'm going to put my lips around here so I'm not going to get oil in my mouth, and I'm going to blow air through the housing. Alright, so now I've done that, I'm going to do it again on this side. So I'll take my oil, my 3-in-1, a couple of drops in here. And then I'll blow the oil through the housing. Alright, so that should be good now. So I'm going to go ahead and install my housing back on the bike. Alright, so now with my brake cable, I'm going to run that through the housing. Basically just going to push all that through, and you can see that it's come out on the other side, so now all I got to do is pull the other side. Now the cable housing is in place right here, so now I just need to go around the bike and run it through all of the little slots on the frame where it goes. Alright, so right here is our third little piece. Probably can't see. I probably need to get out of the way, don't I? I do like having these things. You know, all the old bikes didn't have these. You had to use those, what do you call it? Zip ties. That's what you had to use. Alright. So our housing is in place. Our cable is in place. So now we need to put our noodle on. So our noodle is this piece here. I'm not going to worry about oiling it because these things are usually packed full of grease. I'm sure the grease in here is probably pretty old, but you know, you got to replace your noodle occasionally. So this one, I'm not going to worry about it until I need to replace it. So I'll run my cable through the noodle, and then it just locks in place on that housing. That's all it does. So I'll route my cable over here. I'm going to lock the noodle into the cradle there. And now with the cable, I'm just going to put it in the little slot that it runs through here on the other brake arm. I'm going to get it pretty close to where I want it to be. And then I'm going to tighten this, this bolt by hand. Just so that it's not super tight, but not insanely loose. I want it to hold in place just a little tiny bit. So that'll make this job a little bit easier. Okay, so in between shots I realized that my I forgot to put the boot on, so I went ahead and undid the bolt here, and I put the boot on and then redid what I had just done. Okay, so I know it's really hard to see what I'm doing, but basically what I want to do is I'm going to take my these are, I think these are called lineman's pliers. I'm going to squeeze my, actually, I need a little bit more cable tension. So I'm going to loosen that up a little bit, or I need a little bit more, I need a little bit less cable tension is what I meant to say. Okay. And I gotta get this in place. My camera battery is getting low, so I'm really hoping that the camera doesn't die on me in the middle of this. Okay. So I'm going to squeeze those brake arms together, and I'm going to take this, and I'm going to pull on that to hold the cable in place where I want it. With the lineman's pliers. So with that going on, that will hold my left brake arm in place exactly where I want it. And so what I want to do is I want to get so that the brake pads are not touching the rim, that they're just leaving just a little bit of space. Alright, so my camera battery just died, so I replaced it, and I decided that I might try laying the bike down on the ground to do this. It is a lot easier when you have a maintenance stand you can work with. So, okay. I do not have this quite right, so I'm going to loosen this up. I want to pull as much of the cable through as I possibly can. And you know, I can't see the other side. Can't see the other side of the brake arm since I'm only exposed to the right side here. But I'm going to assume that that's correct. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to flip the bike upright and I'm going to test it. Okay. So, our brakes are attached. They're all good. I just checked them off screen. And yeah, they're actually, well, I'll go ahead and do that after I do this. I'll show you. But so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to clip the cable here. I'm going to do it right about here. Oh, there it goes. Alright. Yeah, the regular cable cutters are so much easier. And then I got one of these, so I'm going to put it on. And I like having these things on super tight. So I'm actually going to crush the hell out of this one. Or, I guess, pinch the hell out of this one with these lineman's pliers. So, oh, alright. I think it's safe to assume that that will not come off of there. Alright, so now that our work is done, let's go ahead and test our brakes. I'll squeeze my back brake lever, pull back. Look at that. Back brakes are good. Front brakes, yep, they're good too. Alright. So that wasn't so bad. I'll tell you what, this took me a hell of a lot longer than I expected it to, mostly because I'm used to working with a maintenance stand in the shop where I work. So yeah, that's one thing I'd like to do in the future is get a maintenance stand here at home or build my own, which may be a fun project. But besides that, hope you guys have found this video informative and useful. If you guys have any questions about tuning your brakes, installing your brakes, anything to do with brakes or bike maintenance or whatever, let me know. And as always, subscribe for more bike fun. See you guys next time.